Okay, welcome to Chapter 11, Managing Systems Implementation. I have cut, again, like other ones, I've cut out quite a few slides on here, a lot of summary, a couple areas I want you to pay particular attention to, but we'll cover those in just in a minute. You've got everything done, and now you need to put the system in, but it's, as far as just installing it and forgetting about it, that won't work. So what you have to do is, first off, guarantee the quality of this by using quality assurance. There are software programs that can do this. There's also people that are trained in quality assurance that know what to do. You can show a structure chart that shows the methodology that you're using to put this in, how you're going to install this. I did not expect you to go into the coding process, and let you look at these and then we'll continue on. So quality assurance, companies are obviously concerned with quality. That's not always been the case. America has had problems with quality assurance in the past, especially in the automobile industry. I think by now we have most of those worked out. I have an American car. My wife has a foreign car. Both are good cars. I would put quality against my American car against hers any day, both for fit, appearance, and everything else. Couldn't have said that 20 years ago. I quit buying American cars just because of the junk that Detroit was producing. I think those days are over now. At least I hope they are. I'm very satisfied with mine, with every way that it looks. So anyways, you want to make sure quality gets put in. And quality is really based on how it's designed. It's based on the standards that are used and whether they're adhered to or not. Quality assurance begins with initial and goes up to optimization. Some companies hang around in here. They never make it up to level 5. But the capability, or the CMMI, as you can read above, has 5 maturity levels that must be maintained. ISO, International Organization for Standardization. You have ISO 9000, ISO 9001, 2, 3. You have ISO 14000. You have different ones, and these are tough standards to maintain. And companies that do this typically have everything together. And it's more than just producing a good product. That product has to not only be good, but it has to define quality in different ways. Quality to me and quality to you may be two different things. You may enjoy quality. For instance, take a shirt, male or female shirt. Okay, sorry about that. Telephone calls happen. So back to ISO. Again, it's a quality assurance. Standards are tough to maintain, but they're tough to earn, and then they have to be maintained. Just because a person goes through ISO certification and earns it, they don't always stay ISO certified. So reviewing system design. You can see these bullets right here. Everything is considered. The development tasks are considered. Begins with planning and ends up with documentation. Again, documentation gets left out, so we need to be real careful that documentation happens. The different methods of getting this done. One is called an agile method. I'll let you look at the model here. And again, a lot of these I don't explain because the models explain themselves. You can see where this begins, the scenarios begin, and how they end up with the next, before it ends up with being customer approval and released. Tools we've talked about already. Flowcharts, you've already done a flowchart. Pseudocode, didn't ask you to do any coding in here. And then decision tables, you've done a decision table and a decision tree. So that's why all this needs to be, it's important that we put this together. Here's a sales promotion policy. Now that you have an idea of what this is, then it would be coded and put into place. Again, a decision tree, whether a person is a preferred customer or not. Then you have a flow chart or a matrix or a decision matrix that explains everything and what happens to this customer. This needs to be considered what makes a preferred customer become a preferred customer. No, and then stopping over here, you'll never capture this and change this. Obviously, a business's overall process would be to change this over, give this person this, and hopefully then the next time you want them up here to become a preferred customer. You'd like yeses for all of these. This keeps your business functioning. Structure charts you've done. Object oriented we've talked about. Coding, I promised you I wouldn't spend any time with it. Just know that it exists. And again, know that you'll have a couple of questions on there about coding. The system has to be tested again and again and again. And then the last thing, of course, is documentation. That you have to do is document everything. This gets left off or it gets done bad. You all know from buying a component and having a weak owner's manual, it always begins with documentation. A user needs to go over this and make sure that everything is correct and put in point. And then, of course, management has to approve it. And once management gets its approval, give them an opportunity to disprove it. And you think, well, I don't want that. Well, you want management, you want to make sure they have all the information they need in order to make a smart decision. You leave something out, they approve it. The next time you bring something up for approval, they're going to test it and over-test it and over-test it, and you may be a long time without having your process in place. Installation and evaluation, once you get this, you install it, you look for a post-implementation evaluation, and then you do a final report to management, and then management gives it the thumbs up on what you're going to be doing right here. Make sure your test environment is as natural as possible. While it's good to be behind the scenes, make sure that you've used as much as you can to see if it's going to work. So your IT staff and test environment, users and operating, look at this model for just a minute and see if you can make sense of it. Okay? So the training plan, who needs training and what kind of training do they need? And it'll be the different groups would do this. Who does the training? Somebody from your department, as long as they're a good trainer. Somebody that's from the systems management in there, as long as they're a good trainer. Or sometimes you can insource that, which means you can bring someone from another department. You can train them on this product and then have them do the training because they do this for a living. Data conversion is typically has to be done if systems are changed completely. A good example is going from one software program to another. Way back when there's so many documents of Microsoft Word produced doc. When they produced that, other companies couldn't read that, so you had to convert that over to something called an RTF, which stands for Rich Text Format. Thankfully, those days are over now, so everybody reads .docs now, or DocX, or whatever you're trying to create. Systems changeover needs to be scheduled. it needs to be scheduled during a time when it can be done. I've done system changeover if at like 1 o'clock in the morning, midnight. That way you've got all night to work on it. Or take the system down for a couple of days, knowing that you can do that. When do you do it? You do it on a weekend when the company's closed, if they're closed on the weekend. If they're not, you do it during the week, during the slowest days of the week. Typically need 1 or 2 days to do this. Make sure you do it where you don't impede on somebody else's livelihood, which is making money. Post-implementation evaluation. Once this is all done, you want to go back and check everything. And you can read the bullets on here. This follows the text very well. Make sure you do questionnaires to gather information. I'm going to have you do a questionnaire. It's an example right here of an evaluation form. Hey, don't be afraid about getting unsats on here. You want it now. You want it before you put this thing live. Now's when you want to read the different areas that won't work. You don't want to find this out when it goes live. Final report for management needs to be the honest truth, not something that you think management wants to see. Management wants to see the real deal. So give them an opportunity. Your chapter activity, what I'd like you to do is an accurate evaluation of the system. You can read your write-up on that right there, what I've got, and based on your case study, and then what specific questions in the questionnaire. Now, these questions are in your book. Please don't copy verbatim. Use your own words. Use these as a baseline, but find other ones that go with that right there. Don't use the same thing as the textbook has, because you don't learn anything. Summarizing this chapter right now, you have systems implementation phase. This is the right before the last thing that we do. And then we can take it for right there. And I didn't mention a lot about Agile or Agile, whatever how you pronounce it, development. But there's 4 steps to create a structured chart. And then you need to know something about those 4 steps. And then here is everything else. And then this is the last slide. So everyone who interacts with this information system should receive training appropriate to their skills. Make sure that they understand what they're doing. So that's all I have. Good day.